We are going to implement the tabs directive now. If we look at the tabs, so the HTML which is already inside the tabs directive in about.html, right? So if we give a template, this HTML goes away, right? It is the our template changes or overrides this already existing HTML. So if we do not give the tabs key, so it is used as it is. So the HTML which is already inside these tabs, so that is used as a template. Now this template, using this template, we cannot achieve our directive. So we will assume that it has some other template, and after implementing the directive with some other template, we will try to convert this template to that template dynamically. So you will understand as I start coding. So let's first give a template URL. Let's have it as templates slash tabs.html. So inside templates, let's create a tabs.html file. So this is tabs.html. So we would ideally want our corresponding template to be something like this. Div, for example, class equal to tab headers, and then the tabs span about us, something like this, right? Span contact us. So the actual tabs inside the tab like structures, for example, this Chrome tabs, right? So this the headers, the tab headers are these are the tab headers. So we are trying to implement something like this. So the actual tab headers, right? And then the tabs div dot tab, first tab, and the second tab, and the HTML inside this should be something like this. So this should be copied. I'll copy it in our tabs.html. So right now we are just wishing or fascinating that if our template is something like this, then our job is done or easier. Something like this, right? And there would be a current tab variable on scope. So it should be ng class equal to active if current tab is 1, so that this tab, the active tab, looks different than the other tabs. Ng class equal to active if current tab equal to 2. So this is the second tab. Similarly, show the first tab if current tab is equal to 1. Similarly, show the current tab, show this div when current tab is same as 2, and when we click on it on the first tab, then I'll set current tab to 1. Similarly, when I click on the second tab, then I'll set the current tab variable to 2, so that this starts showing, and this also becomes active. It acquires active class. Similarly, when I click on the first tab on about us, then it current tab variable is set to 1, and this becomes active, and this is shown, and this is hidden, right? But we are still wishing. So let's see if even if by uh, choosing a tailor-made template, if it is working or not. So let's see. Probably it has cached localhost 8080 slash templates. So this is tabs.html. Yeah, because we have not yet included tabs.js in index.html because it's a new file. Tabs.js. So let's see if things change. Yeah. So about us, contact us, we see just the two tabs, and and none of the tabs are shown because current tab is undefined now. When I click on it, then it will set the current tab to 1, and I see the first tab, right? When I click here, I see the second tab, right? So it works, but it needs some CSS designing also, so that it actually looks like a tab. Let's do that. uh, Inside style.css, we can create something for tabs. Some styling for tabs, right? We can alternatively add this here also in the template also. So this tab is basically uh, fully packed directive, completely a reusable widget. So let's add here only in the HTML only. So we will give tab headers span, and so this is a tab. So let's have background color light gray, and padding say 10 pixels. If I refresh, I need to refresh the template. Yeah. So here are the tabs. 10 pixels look a lot, so let me reduce it to 5. Yeah, so here are the tabs, right? That when the tab is active, I want it to be of some other color, background color. Span dot active span dot active is background color orange, right? And let's remove the text decoration. Yeah, looks good. Let's also add some styling for the tabs. uh, Border 2 pixels, solid or orange, so that it mixes with the current tab, and margin top 5 pixels and padding 10 pixels. So let's see how it looks like. So when I click here, right, it looks fine, looks like a tab like structure, right? Cool. So let's come back to tabs.js. Let's also set this current tab variable on scope to 1 initially, so that the first tab is visible when we come here. So let's have a link function, a scope element attributes. So I'll just do scope dot current tab is 1. So when I reload, so the first tab is by default selected, right? So looks fine. We can also add a cursor pointer on tabs so that we see the hand cursor instead of normal cursor, right? So now it looks like a proper tab. Hello people, right? Cool. Now this is still our wish, that had our template been like this, then our job would have been easier, right? But that is not the case, right? So there is a way out, and that is, the way out is compile key. So compile is like a preprocessor and is called before the linking is done, and it only has uh, element. It is called only with the jQuery element object and nothing else. So element is basically the jQuery object of this selector of the HTML element. So in this case, uh, tabs. So uh, the element is basically jQuery object of tabs, something like dollar and then tabs. Let's come back. Let me print it for you. Element sorry. Yeah, so this is the jQuery object. So in compile key, if I print element dot html, so I see the current HTML. No, the whole HTML which we have written, because we have used the template key, right? So this HTML is basically jQuery function. So we can write our jQuery code here, and compile runs once before linking is done, before the link function, right? So it is kind of a preprocessor. So it is basically, you can do stuff with your template before before this compile, this directive is loaded and link is called. So we will use this element and some jQuery code to convert the templates which we have to the template which we want. So let's see how we do that. So first of all, we will do var tabs equal to element dot find tab. So it will I'll try to first find uh, all the all the tab elements inside it, right? And from there I will extract the titles and create our headers, and then I'll create the inner HTML of this tabs, and then create our tabs. So let's see how I do that. Where tabs equal to element dot find tab, and where tabs HTML equal to some empty string for now, and we have tabs. And now let's prepare the header. uh, for where I equal to 0, or let's see if there is a each function like that in jQuery. jQuery each uh, this one probably dot each. Yeah, so there is a iterator. So if I use the li selector, then in each I get something like this. So I'll use that. uh, tabs dot each function, and here in dollar this I will get the tab, where tab equal to dollar this. So something like this, dollar this, right? And on dollar tab I can call jQuery functions also. So by default, Angular has a very light version of jQuery that is called jQlite. So that has very minimal features of jQuery. If you want to use a proper full-blown jQuery distribution, then you need to include jQuery.js file before Angular. And when Angular loads, if it sees a jQuery file already there, then it will use the jQuery which you already have loaded, not its lighter version called jQlite. So let's see if jQlite fits the purpose or not. So if I just refresh it, I see an error saying tabs.each is not a function. So again that is happening because it's not maybe because we are using jQlite, or let's use something like this, tab. Yeah, it's saying dollar is not defined, right? So it is not able to find dollar. So dollar is the jQuery object, the main jQuery object which we get from which we get from jQuery file. So we will need to have the proper jQuery file. Uh, we cannot use uh, the jQlite, since it will not fit the purpose here, because we are doing a little more complex operations than required. I have the jQuery code, so I'll use it. I'll copy it into uh, our folder. Otherwise, you can download it. Uh, I think it is in the downloads folder. Yeah. So I have only jQuery UI. Probably it's there in the in some another folder. Yes, I have jQuery here, and copy this to Angular training 16, and then vendor. So, sorry, instead of CD, I need to use CP. Yeah. So it is copied in the vendor folder. I have jQuery -1.11.3.min.js, so I'll include it in our index.html file before Angular. jQuery -1.11.3.min.js. So we have jQuery now. So if I refresh, so I don't see any error. I don't see the error anymore. Right? So let's come back to our tabs.js. So for each iteration, the jQuery object for each tab is $this, and we can play around with $this. So let's have a tab header HTML equal to something like I'll just copy the lines from tabs.html. So this is the first line which we want to have. I'll just paste it, right? And for each tabs I want a line like this. Tab header HTML plus equal to a line like this. And this 1 and 2 will be the tab number, right? So we need some index. I'm not sure if how we get that, the tab number basically, or we can have something like uh, where tab number equal to 1, and we'll do tab number plus plus, something like that. Tab header plus equal to, so instead of 1 we'll have tab number, right? So again here instead of 1 we'll have tab number, and instead of about us, so we'll dynamically pick the attribute tab.attr title, right? So what I'll reiterate, what we are trying to do is convert this into this, right? So let me go back to tabs.js, and here I will first remove the template URL key, so that as a template I get this, and will convert it into tabs.html. Like basically we will write a code which converts this into tabs.html dynamically, right? So we have prepared tab headers dot html, right? Looks fine. And at the end we will do tab number plus plus, and then tab header html plus equal to, then closing div, right? So if I reload, nothing is happening because we are just right now preparing the tab header html, and when we will be done, we will just do at the end element dot html tabs html, the new html which we prepare dynamically, and tabs html plus equal to tab header html. So if I refresh, so I see just the two tabs, about us, contact us, right? So we have prepared this tab header right now without the css. We'll add the css later. So tab header is done. Then comes the turn of tabs. So we'll again do something similar. Let's write it where tabs html equal to, let's call it uh, final html, the full html, right? And then we'll call this variable tabs html, so which has the html only for tabs. We'll again do where tab number equal to 1, and then dollar tab dot each function function where tab equal to dollar this, and then tabs html plus equal to, then we'll go to our the html which we wish to have, which will look something like this. So which is something like this, plus some html. So instead of this, it should be uh, tab dot html, right, plus, and then div, right? And instead of 1, we'll have tab number, which starts from 1 and keeps increasing. And at the last line I will do tab number plus plus, and final html plus equal to tab header plus tabs html, and then I will do element.html final html. So let's see what it does. Yeah, so it has done its job. So we have the tab thing ready, just that we do not have the style. So header, it's tabs. So we can also add uh, style here dynamically. Style final HTML plus equal to, and I'll just copy the whole style into here, the style tag tabs.html. I just paste it here, and since it's a multi-line, so I need to do something like this. So it will take a while, but the results are worth it. Right, so I first added the styles, and then the header, and then the tabs. So I can also write here uh, final HTML plus equal to tab header HTML. So as soon as I prepare tab header HTML, I add it to final HTML, and here I can write something like this. And then at the end, I just change the HTML of the element to the final HTML, right? So it's kind of a pre-processor thing, right? So using compile, we are pre-processing. So if I refresh, yeah, I see our nice tabs back again without the template. So everything is dynamic. One thing is there is something to notice. If you ever use compile, you cannot use link function. If you have a link function, so you have to return it from the compile function. So at the end, you have to return the link function, right? So this is the link function which you need to return. So to make things clear, you can also write where link equal to function, or maybe function link, and then return link. So if I refresh, then first tab is pre-selected because of this link function, and everything's work again. Now I can go here and delete tabs.html, which is no more required. So that was just for our inspiration. So I move it to trash. It's no more there, and still our nice looking tab structure is working. So I hope compile is clear. So I'll reiterate. We first went to about.html. We looked at the HTML, and we know it doesn't fit the purpose. We are not going to use the template key because some HTML is already there, right? So we created HTML which we want. We made the tabs directive work, and then we, since that was not the final solution, so we wrote a code which converts this into the HTML which we require, right? And this is the program, and that is something which you do in compile. So compile acts just before the directive is loaded. So when you have a compile, then your template is dynamically changed, and then linking and everything will happen. So I hope it is clear.